Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I present to you my first book. No, thank you. There is no depression. Last year I talked about some books that changed my life. This year I wrote a book in hopes of changing others' lives. In this book I talked about 5 ways to get out of depression, and I wrote what came from my heart. And it was fully based on my life experiences. So it's simple. Because life is simple. Yeah, the world is not a nice place to live in. Sometimes you get sad, sometimes you get bored. But life is simple because everything you need to know is given to you. You are the one who chooses to take the information and make life easier, or refuse to learn and make life complicated. Now, before we get started, I want to answer a question that I know is in your minds. Why would I read a 16-year-old's book while I can read a psychologist's book about depression? Well, here's the reason. Now think of 2 surgeons. The first one only knows the theoretical part of that profession, and the second one gained his information and knowledge by having some real surgeries and experiences. Now, which one would you choose to do your brain or heart surgery? Well, of course the second one. Because going through stuff and actually doing things will always teach you more, and this is why I started writing this book, because I might speak to the heart and soul of people. Now, there might be a lot of people who may have written a book about this topic better than me. I'm not saying don't read them. Read them because every information, every advice is important and valuable. You never know which one is going to change your life and take it to the next level. Now, was I ever depressed? Well, I always say no, because I don't believe in what you call depression right now. And I don't want that to enter my mind anymore. Well, if that was not the case, I'd probably say, yeah, I was depressed. But now I prefer to say that my life was bad at that time. Because now I don't believe in depression. I see depression as an excuse to hide behind. Depression is a hideout that people go when their lives are bad. And I used to go there too. And if you want to be depressed, then you are going to be depressed. Well, why would anyone want to be depressed? Well, the answer is so simple. Attention. Don't lie. I know all of you acted like something bad had happened to you when you did something wrong, so your mom or dad doesn't get mad at you. It's a classic kid thing. It's an easy way out all the time. But unfortunately, that easy way out won't always lead you to happiness and peace. After you travel that easy way out will eat you alive. You start by acting, and all of a sudden you find yourself going to that deep, dark cave of depression. Now, and this is why I don't think that an antidepressant is the medicine for you. Because depression is a burning house. And antidepressants are buckets of water that you throw at the house, which can even make the problem bigger sometimes. Antidepressants don't make the reason of depression go away. It's still there. You need a fire truck to extinguish the fire. And that fire truck will always be self-improvement. And in this book, I talk about 5 ways to get your life better. These 5 ways will only take your life to another place, but they will also make depression disappear. Because now your life is good. You don't need a hideout to go to. Because now you're climbing the mountain of life. And these 5 ways are really simple. You just have to put them into progress. Now let's get into them. The first one is probably harder than the others, but it will work efficiently with everyone, and that is to live fast. I explained this with physics a little in my book. Now I'm going to demonstrate to you how a gyroscope works. Now, this is a gyroscope. If I don't do anything to it and put it on the table, as you can see, it falls. But there's a rope here. If I take this rope and then spin the gyroscope, as you can see, it won't fall. Well, what's happening? This is because of the angular momentum that it has. Your life is a gyroscope. Yes, your life is a burning house. Yes, your life is a gyroscope. And it's a mountain. But all jokes aside, if you don't spin, if you don't keep moving, if you don't get the momentum, you will fall. And if you spin, then the friction force will slow it down, which is our problem in our lives. We'll slow it down, and then it will fall. But you have to keep going. so you don't fall. Now, we all fall in life, just like this gyroscope. We're all human. We all fall in life. The ones that don't fall now fell before. They just learn what they did wrong, and now they keep moving. All great achievements require a good amount of work. Well, that's something I shouldn't do because I didn't work on it that much. But you have to keep going so you don't fall and don't make mistakes and don't go into that deep dark cave of depression. Now the second way to get out of depression is stop complaining and get to work. Do you know how much energy you waste on complaining on things that probably won't change? Complaining does nothing. And everybody in this room knows this. Yet we still complain. Well, why? Give me one logical reason for complaining. I know, there is none. We all know that the only solution to our problems is action. And when you huff, you don't blow your problems away. They're still there. And the more you complain, the more you get demotivated. The more you complain, the more you get sad. The more you complain, the more you get tired. And slowly, slowly, you will find yourself in that deep, dark cave of depression. Now, the third way to get out of depression is to have a goal. No life should be meaningless. Because once you ask yourself, why am I here? What am I doing with my life? What's the purpose of life? If you can't find an answer, brother, you have to change something. Because after that, every path you choose will lead to depression. Now, everything that you do doesn't always have to have a meaning sometimes. But it is important to have a main goal, a daily goal, a weekly goal, a monthly goal, a yearly goal. Not a dream, a goal. So you have to work for it. Because without a why, whatever you listen to, whatever you've read, will be meaningless. And hear me out, I don't mean to disparage anyone in this, but every atheist that I've known wants to die. And if you compare the suicide rates between atheists and other religions, you will probably see that suicide rates are way higher amongst atheists. Well, why? That's because they don't believe in an afterlife. They view this world as a coincidence. We just came and we will leave. So nobody will keep us responsible. So why would we even take responsibilities? Well, of course, without a why, without a meaning in your life, you will feel empty. And this looks like a little problem in our lives, but it is one of the biggest. Because sometimes you ask some youngsters, some even adults, what are your plans for today? What are your plans for the next week? What are your plans for the next 5 years? And they say, I don't know. Yes, even to the question of what are your plans for today? Well, they don't have anything to work for. Well, of course, if you don't have anything to work for, your life will be empty and it will be meaningless. So have a goal. The fourth way, and the reason that I started writing this book, is block the entry of the negative. I've met a person in the process of ending my book who I can tell tried to change for the better, who worked hard and always was aware of what she did wrong. And she tried to change that. But she always talked about how bad and lazy she was. Well, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, I don't know. Maybe she's exaggerating. But the reason she views herself as bad and lazy is because she repeats it so much. I've seen many people who tell themselves that they are depressed, and this is why I started writing this book. One more time, I don't mean to disparage anyone, but people in general are becoming weak. Reasons such as having a bad day or such as having a bad grade on an exam can lead to depression just because they repeat it so much. And I've seen many depressed people whose lives are way better than the others. And they're depressed because they repeat it so much, because of their self-talk. And talking about better and worse lives, that brings us to the fifth way of getting out of depression, and that is to be grateful. There are always people whose lives are way worse than yours. Some innocent kids, some innocent people can't sleep because of the fear of their house blowing off. Sometimes we don't realize the blessings that we have. So many of us have roofs over us. Many of us have food to eat. Many of us are safe. So how dare you even say, I'm bad. My life is bad. I'm depressed. Because if you're going to say that, what are the kids there are going to say? I would be ashamed of myself. So focus on the things that you have. What seems like a little thing sometimes, it's the hopes of others. and live your life knowing that you are even blessed to live another second because you didn't earn it. It was given to you by God's good grace. So be grateful. Now I hope this book and this speech can change a lot of people's lives and make the world a better place. Thank you.